broadcasting live from an undisclosed location. This is the TCMMA podcast with your host, Chris Cross.
Whoa!
Dana White privilege.
Let's go, baby! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, baby!
Dana White privilege. Privilege.
We are live for the UFC 305 watch party. Du Plessis versus Adesanya for the middleweight title. And the belt has switched hands in the last three fights. No reason to think it might not switch hands tonight, as you got two very capable fighters in that main event. Co-main event, Kai Kara-France versus Steve Erceg, a high-level flyweight fight. And then on deck right now, big lightweight fight, Mateusz Gamrot, crowd favorite, against Dan Hooker, who's literally a crowd favorite because he's fighting at home. So this is going to be a big matchup, and highly looking forward to the big three tonight. So stick with us here as Mateusz Gamrot makes his way into the octagon, and they're going to get it introduced, and we'll be ready to go. But you didn't get to see the prediction on this one, so Mateusz Gamrot, we got him predicted to win. The guy's 24-2. He's going to be 2 inches shorter, though, with 5'10". He's 33, Hooker 34, so these guys are right, probably in the best shape of their life. Dan Hooker, 4-inch reach advantage. He's a switch stance fighter. Gamrot's a southpaw or left-hander, but this is basically a striker in Dan Hooker versus a takedown specialist in Mateusz Gamrot. That's what the fight comes down to. And Dan Hooker is going to be tested, and he's going to have to defend takedowns. Plain and simple. And he'll get introduced first. He's 23-12, so he's got a lot of losses. That's why I went with Mateusz Gamrot, but Dan Hooker's no easy out either. I mean, he's been in the game for a long time. But 3-1 underdog tonight, baby. And of course, the crowd loves Dan Hooker. No doubt about it. So he's introduced. Now Mateusz Gamrot getting introduced. And this fight will be on, baby. First of three. During these fights, get involved in the chat room. We'll read some of those messages between fights, or maybe during the fight. We'll see how it goes. But get involved there. And yeah, Mateusz Gamrot looks fit, man. He looks fit. And I'd say he's more like a 6-1 favorite, in my opinion. Just because of the takedown ability. Alright, so let's tune it up. Here we go. UFC 305, Fight 3, lightweight division. Best division in the UFC. Anything can happen. You got Mateusz Gamrot versus Dan Hooker. Two guys that are ranked in this division. And it'll be that way the rest of the way. So Mateusz Gamrot, number 5. Dan Hooker, number 11. This fight's on... This fight is underway. Excuse me. And Dan Hooker came out fast. That's kind of why I lost my train of thought for a second. Landing a couple jabs to get started. And both of these guys kind of similar on the feet, right? I give the edge to Dan Hooker because of the reach. But Mateusz has the X factor in the ground game. First 30 seconds gone. Nice leg kick by Hooker. Who you can tell already, he's going to be moving a lot. He's going to keep that jab hand, lead hand out, and try to keep Mateusz off of him. And almost every fighter in this division can go to the ground. I mean, if need be. Some are better than others. Like Mateusz is really good on the ground. Big left and right from Gamrot. But Dan Hooker's been around a while. He can defend takedowns. But right now, Mateusz isn't even thinking about it, doesn't look like. He's content standing up and striking. 6-5 early on, Hooker. Nice leg kick by both guys. So far, Gamrot having a hard time getting in there. And here he goes, attacks a leg. Gets Hooker right to the ground. Now he's going to try to get the head on the hip. Hooker's got one hand down trying to get up. It's not going to happen. And Mataush is on top. And this is where Mataush shines. Crowd won't like it because he won't necessarily get a submission. But he's very capable of keeping this here for the next 3 minutes. No doubt about it. Now he's digging hooks under the knee. He's getting those legs taken care of. Seen that a lot from Charles Oliveira. Now Hooker stands up and gives up. Mataush tries to get underneath. He can. He knees him and backs off. And now they're back to the top. Or to the center as the crowd likes that. So Dan Hooker held serve on the first one. Oh, Mataush caught him. Now Mataush is trying to get underneath. Oh, Dan Hooker, look out. Okay. And for a moment, Dan Hooker was in trouble. Gamrot's pounding away from the top. Dan Hooker's covering up. Look at this. He's not fighting back at all. Wow, look at this. This is not what I expected. Not the ground and pound. I expected stand up and strike or submission attempts. But Gamrot clearly wants to finish in this one as he pounds with 2 rights. And Gamrot's taken 7 different opponents down 4 times. That's incredible. Just incredible. Hooker gets back to his feet. And clearly Mataush is leading in this fight already. 32-15 in significant strikes. He's really pulled away. He's taken the fight to the ground a few times. 2 takedowns. 131 of control. And now Dan Hooker's pressing. You got to be careful with Hooker. Look at this. Big right and left by Hooker. And Mataush tries to go in for the takedown. He can't get it. He lands a right. Okay. And Mataush backing off a little bit. These guys are swinging now. Boy, the crowd is on its feet. You got to love this, man. I'm telling you, Dan Hooker's not an easy out. In this lightweight division, anything can happen. As we're seeing. My goodness, man. And Mataush can only move around right now and try to get takedowns because he's just trying to get the end of this round right now. That's how critical that punch was about 30 seconds ago. Final 20 here, and Mataush is just going to try to hold on. And now some big elbows by Hooker. Gamrot goes to stand up. He's going to try to take the back. He can't. And final 10, and the crowd's on its feet. So good first round already. I had a feeling about this one. Dan Hooker can bring him into deep waters, which he's trying to do right now. Anything can happen. And both guys were tested right there. So it ended up being 33-20. Gamrot, who's going to get that round. He also had 2 takedowns. But Hooker finished the round strong. And a little bit of nervous eyes in the corner of Gamrot. You see his coach's eyes real big here, trying to give him clear instructions because they know. Can't make mistakes with Dan Hooker, man. You're getting, this is a veteran. And to get here, Gamrot beat Jalen Turner. That wasn't an easy fight either. Split decision. So, Dan Hooker knows this is a top 5 situation in the best division in the UFC. I mean, this could change everything for him to go from 11 to 5. Yeah, man, he had Gamrot in trouble. Unbelievable. He had him in trouble. In that final minute. And Dan Hooker smiling. And when you look at their faces, you can tell Mataush is leading the fight, obviously. But Dan Hooker, it's almost like he doesn't start fighting until he gets hit. Second round underway. And Hooker now defending takedowns pretty well. And that may continue throughout this fight, which could really make it interesting. Gamrot 3 for 6 right now. He goes in, he gets this one. Oh my goodness. Dan Hooker on his back trying to grab around the back of Mateusz. He's trying to move to side control now. And watch his triangle here. Watch his triangle. Mateusz is trying to lock it in, but Dan Hooker's good at defending this stuff. Again, he's been around for a while. This is the fight I expected right here. Gamrot to control the ground. May not get the submission, but he's going to constantly be going for submissions. Gamrot really dominating here in side control. Dan Hooker trying to roll out of it. He can't. And a nice elbow by Mateusz. And he had success on the ground earlier when he utilized the ground and pound. And he should be going for that again, although he's looking for the triangle here. I don't think he has it locked in, though. Hooker too slippery. And I get it. If you go for the ground and pound, you could lose your position. Right now, Gamrot's, controlling the position on top, building control time. It's up to 3 minutes and 50 seconds on 3 takedowns. We're only 2 rounds, halfway through the fight. And Dan Hooker crawls his way back to the fence. So he's going to try to utilize the fence to work his way up. Gamrot's not going to make it easy on him. Now Hooker to one knee. Protecting from the left knee of Gamrot, he does. And now can Dan Hooker stay on his feet? He does. And he gets out of it, and the crowd's going to love this. So Dan Hooker's answering the questions as far as dealing with the grappling and ground game, relentless takedowns and attempts from Gamrot, who's 3 of 6 right now. But Dan Hooker hanging in. And from what we've seen from the judges tonight, it's anyone's guess who's going to win this fight. I mean, this is the first night ever we, wrapped up the fight with Rosenstrike in the last fight. I mean, he had an easy unanimous decision victory. It wasn't even close, and one of the judges went 3-0 to Avasa. I mean, it was crazy. And another takedown attempt. And look at this. Oh, Hooker almost had the guillotine. That would be crazy. And it's clear now, Gamrot no longer wants to strike. So he's going to be going for takedowns the rest of the way. And Hooker's going to battle back in significant strikes. That's what's already happening. It's now 41-30. Now landing some good elbows now is Dan Hooker. And Mateusz looking to try to get another takedown. He's got the head on the hip, but Dan Hooker's going to stand up. And this is what you get from Gamrot. This is why he's such a tough guy to take on. He's just relentless. It looks like the guy is going to get out of it, and he just continues to go in. And Dan Hooker landed some good elbows there. And I mean, even though Gamrot had the position and control up against the fence, it was Dan Hooker landing the better strikes. So I don't, how do you judge that? That's what I'm saying. It's going to be interesting. Now Dan Hooker pouring it on. Gamrot goes right back to the head on the hip and covers up as Hooker lands some elbows. So crowd liking this one. Very tough round to score, but definitely Hooker came back in that one. 42-35 now in significant strikes. 4 takedowns by Gamrot. Over 4 minutes of control. I just don't know how much that's going to matter. And if you're in Dan Hooker's corner now, you gotta tell him, like, defend the takedown first, but you got to counter too. When he ducks that head, that's when you got to go for the uppercut. But at the same time, you cannot totally miss on a punch and get taken down wide open. Gamrot's corner, you can go either way. You could say, hey, continue going for the takedowns. Let's get 6 or 7 minutes of control. You should win the fight that way. But that's not guaranteed. And that's why it seems like this third round to me is starting to lean towards Dan Hooker, who's got a little confidence now. He's talking to the crowd. The crowd's on its feet. And you're going to see that throughout the night, right? The rest of the way is you're going to have hometown fighters other than the final fight, right? Battle for Africa, but which is odd that it's in Australia. But you're going to see the home crowd get on the side of their fighters. And right now they want Dan Hooker to win. There's no question about it. Dan Hooker starts around quick, a jab, followed by a right. Now a kick to the body is caught by Gamrot, and that's not what Dan Hooker wanted. And Mataush goes right back in for the takedown. Look at this, guillotine by Hooker, who loses it. Tried to spin, which could have ended the fight, but he lost it. And Gamrot remains on top. And you hear the fans booing, but it just, it just takes the wind from your sails, man. Hooker right back to his feet. And now 5 takedowns. But he hasn't done much with it, except the one time when he had to utilize, he landed a good 15 or 20 strikes and had Hooker in trouble. Other than that, the takedowns haven't done much. And all of a sudden it's 46-45. Dan Hooker's battling back. If you go straight off of strikes and just eliminate the ground game, Hooker's going to win this fight. It just depends on how much that counts for. Dan Hooker really opened it up now. Left and a right. Mateusz misses with a right, and Mateusz is getting tired, making those takedowns even harder. Boy, both guys trading right now. But Dan Hooker continuing to go forward. I had a feeling this was going to be a battle. Would love to see Gamrot get the finish, but that's not like Dan Hooker a lot of times. 250 left in the fight. Kind of even this round right now. It could go either way. Nice left and right by Hooker. Ooh, and a nice right by Gamrot. 230 left. Yep, and we're getting closer and closer to Du Plessis and Adesanya. Yes, sir. But we'll always take a good lightweight fight. Always. Gamrot's starting to pick up the pace now. He's up by 7 significant strikes, looking to get another takedown, which could be huge. Man, and great defense by Hooker to get out of it. 2 minutes left, crowd likes it. Every time he gets out from a takedown, they're going crazy. And you got to give credit to Dan Hooker, is he's been able to get out of these different positions. And he's been able to stuff 8 takedowns. Complete win for Hooker, but he's got to finish strong to have a shot. Now in the last fight, Rosenstrike led like 98-23 in significant strikes, and a judge had it 3-0 for Tuivasa. So anyone's guess as far as how they're going to rule this fight. Very close round, 20-18, Gamrot in significant strikes. Basically even. Yeah, Mataush grabs a leg of Hooker. Hooker goes in again for the guillotine. Oh my goodness. Oh, Gamrot gets out of it. And I'll tell you what, as far as endurance, Gamrot's got a lot of work to do. Because he's fading now. 40 seconds left. Hooker picking up the pace. And Gamrot slows him down once again by getting into the body. And the crowd can't stand it. They're booing. They don't like it. But this is textbook Mateusz Gamrot. That's why this guy's 24-2. Now Dan Hooker going to sit down on Mateusz, pounding away with the elbow. He'll get up. He's trying to get out of it. And Mateusz throws them all. 5 seconds left. And the crowd wants to see a flurry here. Here comes Hooker with a big left. I don't know, man. This could go either way. This could go either way. I'm telling you, man. I mean, Mateusz, to me, won the fight. Pretty fair and square. Pretty solid. But it's not safe. Total strikes, 83-81 Hooker. Significant strikes, 66-60 Gamrot. But head strikes was where it was at, 62-38. And a lot of that cushion came in the first round. And then Hooker started looking a lot better. Really, outstruck Gamrot in the second and third round to come back. But the takedown game from Mateusz was relentless. 5 takedowns on 15 attempts. So Dan Hooker stopped, 67% of them. Gamrot still had 5-10 of control to 120 for Hooker. Just very close. The reason it's close, too, is even though Gamrot had 5 takedowns, he really didn't do much with it. Other than the one flurry for like 30 seconds on the ground and pound. Other than that, I mean, it's almost like the judges could look at it like, hey, he's getting tired. He's trying to get these takedowns. I just don't know. And really, it's from the last fight. I really don't know. Both guys circling around the octagon. They're getting anxious. Dan Hooker's smiling. I think he knows he fought well. Like, he fought well here. And you never know. Maybe Dan Hooker will get a surprise decision, which will put him at number 5, 6, or 7, probably 6 or 7 in the lightweight division, which would be a huge feat for him. And because of his name, he gets a bigger fight next. Here we go. Both of them been here before. Here we go, Bruce. Don't do it, Bruce. It's going to be split. 29-28 Gamrot. And already his face drops. 29-28 Hooker. Oh my God. 29-28. Oh my God. Dan Hooker gets the win. Are you serious? These judges, dog. These judges. Oh. Dan Hooker's back in the lightweight division, man. And this is going to be a major setback for Gamrot. And everybody's on notice now. You can't depend on these judges tonight. Gamrot falls for just a third time to 24-3. Dan Hooker moves to 24-12 here. Lightweight division. Oh my goodness. UFC 305. All right, so stick around. We'll be back right after this break. And then we got the big flyweight fight. Kai Kara-France, Steve Erceg. Stay tuned. Now Nickel backs off. But he jumps back in. And now Aguilar's standing him up. Oh, Aguilar jumps in the guillotine. Nickel's lifting his legs up high right now, though, trying to remain calm. Now he's got the legs wrapped around. Aguilar's going to try to finish this. Stuart Nickel just caught in a bad position, man. Oh, my goodness. I don't know. It's locked in pretty good. I don't know if Nickel's going to get out. His left arm is stuck. He got it out now. That might be it. That might be it. That might be it. Yeah, that's it. Jesus Aguilar finishes Stuart Nickel. Unbelievable. And he had to tell the ref, listen, it's over. Stop the fight. Stop the fight. And finally, the ref comes in. Stuart Nickel falls. Jesus Aguilar opens the night with a big submission victory in the first round. And he's taking a bow to the crowd throughout the arena here in Australia. Unbelievable. Song backing off now. Just putting the finishing touches on this fight. 30 seconds left. Oh, and now the ref's going to stop it. He's going to stop it. Just 24 seconds left. I mean, serious? He could have stopped it 4 minutes ago. Song Keeney just dominating this fight. 116 to 64 in total strikes. Head strikes 78 to 25. And I don't think he wants to stop the fight. He's 24 seconds away from a decision, is Ricky Glenn. I mean, despite getting dominated, you still want to finish the final 24. And he's blinking and talking to the doctor. It looked like he just stumbled on his feet, though. I don't know. You know, if you're the doctor, too, can you say, hey, whatever happens in the final 24, I'm willing to, you know, put it on myself. That's what the doctor's got to look at here. Fans kind of booing, but the fight's really over. Significant strikes, 94 to 49. Head strikes, 78 to 25. Okay, and the doctor's saying okay. All right. After about a minute 10 of stoppage, here we go. Ricky Glenn comes out swinging. Got a little rest there. Final 15. And all he can do is just hope to hold on at this point. As Song lands another elbow and a knee and a left elbow. You can't say he's not trying to finish it. Forget it. Song just coming in with multiple elbows here at the end of the fight, and that's the horn. And that's it. And these guys touch gloves, hug it out, but dominant performance for Song. Cannot. He's going to move to 22-8 by unanimous decision here. Welterweight division. UFC 305. Tom Nolan headed to a decision with Alex Reyes, which is incredible considering Tom Nolan was a 15-1 favorite coming into this fight, right? Reyes a heavy underdog, but he goes a distance and made it through some tough times. But overall, 86 to 72 in significant strikes for Tom Nolan. Head strikes was where it was at, 51 to 29. Now, Reyes can say he had some control time here, over 4 minutes of control time on 2 takedowns. But when you watch this fight, Tom Nolan won rounds 1 and 2. Reyes probably won round 3. So I'm looking at a 29-28 unanimous decision for Tom Nolan. But what do I know, right? That's why we have these decisions. Both fighters coming to the center. Here we go. Bruce Buffer on the mic. Who is it? 30-27, 30-27, and 29-28. So 2 judges gave Tom Nolan the 3rd round. That's incredible. Yeah, Tom Nolan gets the win. 15-1 favorite. Didn't quite hold up, but he still won. That's all that matters. He's 8-1. Lightweight division, UFC 305. Chad Jenkins takes the top now after landed 2 hammers. Now he pounds away with the right. What's he going to do? He's going to let him up? He's going to let him up. Oh, and Herbert's not getting up. The ref says that's it. Herbert Burns does not get up. Wow. And Jack Jenkins just kicked away at the leg. And eventually Herbert Burns says, you know what? I think that's it. And the Brazilian pretty much taps out. So that's going to be a TKO win officially for Jack Jenkins. Herbert Burns on his back. And it's mainly because he took the leg kicks to the calf. That's all it was. Repeatedly. And Jack Jenkins is going to move to 13-3. Just a dominant performance for this guy, man. 84 to 24 in significant strikes. 59 to 11 in head strikes. I mean, just absolute domination here. Featherweight division. UFC 305. Casey O'Neill and Luana Santos headed to a decision, but this one isn't in contention for Santos. Casey O'Neill dominated this fight. She's going to move to 10-2. She did it on the feet. Total strikes 107.55. Significant 94-51, excuse me. And then head strikes is where it was at, 69 to 38. Both fighters had exactly 221 of control. One takedown for Santos. So, that's the way it goes. Casey O'Neill dominated this fight in front of the home crowd, beating the Brazilian. She's going to move to 10-2. Women's flyweight division, UFC 305. Josh Culibao and Ricardo Ramos heading to a very awkward decision. It's the best way to say it. I mean, when you look at this fight, Culibao dominated on the feet, 56-22 in significant strikes, 34-17 in head strikes. But Ramos controlled the ground at key points in the fight, most notably the first round and then the third round. He just had one takedown. But over 4 minutes of control. And at one point in the second, it looked like Culibao had this fight won. Now Culibao's talking to DC. I'm not sure about what. And so Culibao talking to Dana Cormier. I don't know why. Can we get the decision, please? So here we go. Both fighters coming together. And again, it's going to be an awkward decision because Culibao dominated the feet, but Ramos could have potentially done enough on the ground. Looking much better. It's like he won round 1. Culibao won round 2. Round 3 is tricky. Very tricky. So here we go. Just crazy because on its face, Culibao won, but it's going to be split. 29-28 Ramos, 29-28 Culibao. 29-28. Culibao looking a little more worried. Ricardo Ramos gets the win, and the crowd does not like that. And Culibao let that fight slip away, and he's upset. And it was that takedown with 1:15 left that got it for Ricardo Ramos. When you watch the fight, it looks like Culibao won. But round by round, I cannot be upset with this. Dang. Ricardo Ramos moves to 17-6. Culibao falls to 11-4, and he's never going to forget that loss. I can promise you that. That's the way it goes down. UFC 305. Tafa's just got to get out of this round now. Walker just dominating on top. Now a leg lock. Look at this. Ooh. And Tafa spinning. He taps, and that's it. Was that a verbal? Weird stoppage. Wow. Walter Walker gets the verbal tap out. Unbelievable. And the fans are booing because they want Junior Tafa to win. But Walter Walker dominating this fight on top. The Brazilian's going to move to 12-1. And he's on top of the fence talking to the fans, and he's stomping around now. And everyone's talking to DC tonight. Now he's stepping around back and forth around the octagon. Oh, and now both of these guys wanting to go at it again. Now Tafa gives him a love tap. You know. So Walter Walker calmed down now. And just an awkward stoppage there because you didn't see a tap, right? It was just all verbal. So here we go. He gets the takedown. And then he starts to work, right, for a good minute. And eventually he goes in for the leg lock, and Tafa spins around a few times. All right, here we go. See if we can hear it. Yeah. Definitely. Oh, they're saying Junior Tafa yelled, didn't tap. Yeah, so he threw his mouthpiece. He wasn't happy. He yelled, but I don't know, man. If I'm the ref, I'm stopping it too. Walter Walker, 12-1, regardless. Heavyweight division, and these guys are still talking back and forth. Heavyweight division. It's getting crazy. Headed to the main card, UFC 305. Your way up into the co-main event, at least for right now. This is an interesting one. Kai Kara France versus Steve Erceg. And Steve Erceg just fought for the title, right? And couldn't get the job done. But Kai Kara France is 24-11, staple of the division, right? Always a problem. Steve Erceg 12-2. I mean, these are two guys that are very capable of winning this fight, as you see up and down this card. You've heard me say that a lot in this show, right? This is another one where it could really go either way. So let's get into it right now. In the flyweight division at UFC 305, you got a good one here. Kai Kara France comes in at 24-11, taking on Steve Erceg, who comes in at 12-2, and coming off his first loss in his UFC career, I might add. Now, Erceg's going to be taller by 4 inches. He's 5'8". France 5'4". He's 28. France 31. France has a 1-inch reach advantage. Both guys stand right-handed. Both guys right at 4.5 significant strikes per minute. Steve Erceg leads the way on the ground with more than 1 takedown over the course of 3 rounds. But France, 88% takedown defense, makes it interesting. But he's coming off back-to-back losses, split decision versus Amir Albazi, and a KO loss to Brandon Moreno. His last win was against Askar Askarov by unanimous decision. That was in 2022. So it's been over 2 years since he's had a victory. Now, Steve Erceg on the other end, 60% takedown defense. That'll be okay here. He lost a decision to Alexander Pantoja. Just couldn't defend the takedowns, right? 9 takedowns. And he trailed 125-111 versus Pantoja. But it's amazing that he gave up 8 more takedowns and only trailed by 14 significant strikes. So it goes to show you he's not far off. Just has to work on the takedown defense. Before that, he KO'd Matt Schnell, beat Alessandro Costa by decision, and also beat David Dvorak by decision. And this is going to be one of those interesting fights because Erceg's not as good as Pantoja, but is he better than France? I mean, the guy's got 11 losses, but a wealth of experience. And I think this is one of these fights where Steve Erceg is going to feel a little pressure. He's got to win this fight. He can't fall off that quickly. He's still just 28 years old. He's on the rise, right? I don't think he's going to get knocked down here by France, even though France has 35 fights under his belt compared to 14 for Erceg. Look for a potential slow start in the first round, but Erceg will pick it up later in the round and also win rounds 2 and 3. So I think he's going to get the decision victory here, in my opinion, both in significant strikes and control time. Although France can defend the takedowns. But in my opinion, Steve Erceg gets the win by decision that way to move to 13-2, flyweight division, UFC 305. And I say by decision because a lot of times these fights in the flyweight division go to a decision. It makes it very tough to predict. And I would honestly say behind the lightweight division, it's the second hardest division to make predictions because 1 through 10, there's not much difference. Pantoja's risen to a different level, but 1 through 10, there's not much of a difference. But we'll lean towards Steve Erceg to get the job done here. I just don't, he's 28 years old. He's going to be better and better every time out, and to fight for the title this early in his career is a good thing. But again, the pressure's on because you just fought for the title. You can't lose the next time out. You're not trying to go down. You're trying to get back to the title, right? And next time he faces Pantoja, if he can keep winning, he's going to be 30, 31 years old. He's going to be right in the prime. And, he could still win the title. That's how good Steve Erceg is. I mean, this guy could still win the title. Make no mistake about it.
You're watching the TCMMA podcast. And now, back to your host, Chris Cross.
Welcome back to the TCMMA podcast. It's your boy Chris Cross, both guys in the center of the octagon. And it won't be too much longer now. Both guys are getting set to be introduced. And yeah, this is a big one for Steve Erceg. There's just no question about it. Like, you can't go from fighting for the title to losing your next fight. Just can't allow it to happen. So Steve Erceg getting introduced first, followed by Kai France. And this is a big one. This is absolutely a big fight. And much like Dan Hooker, this is a big opportunity for Kai France as well. Or actually, I'm not even sure. I have to wait until this fight starts of who's ranked higher because Steve Erceg got the title shot from way down in the rankings. And he didn't win it, so he didn't move up. (24-11), Kai France, very similar to Dan Hooker, right? A lot of losses, but veteran of the game. So he's number 4 in the division. I'm pretty sure he's above Steve Erceg. So he'll be the crowd favorite for sure. Well, really, both of them. Kara France fighting out of New Zealand, Erceg fighting out of Australia. And he gets a medium reception. You see some scattered claps. Nothing big. New ref here, huh? New ref. All right, so here we go. Flyweight division, UFC 305. Kara France versus Steve Erceg. Both guys introduced. Erceg heavy favorite 3-1. Both guys come in to touch gloves. Here we go. Round 1 is underway. Flyweight division, you know, you don't get a lot of finishes. If you do, it's submissions. But every now and then, you get lucky. And that's what we're hoping to see tonight. And already it's Kara France working his way around the outside of the octagon. Steve Erceg playing it in the center. And we were rolling on the night, right? Up to 8-1. Until we lost the last fight when Gamrot fell by a split decision. And a nice left and right already by Kara France. Who's number 4, Steve Erceg number 7. That's where they stand. But Steve Erceg, despite being 6-7 in the division, he got an opportunity to fight for the belt. Couldn't get the job done. 12-1 at the time, now 12-2. And it's still a question mark fight for Erceg, right? Because, okay, you get a title shot, great, you lose. You're still fighting a guy that's above you, right? You're not in the top 5 yet. You got to prove you should be there. And this is a guy you got to beat. First 100 seconds gone, a very slow pace here. Just 3-2 in significant strikes. And hopefully they can pick the pace up here. I mean, give us something to talk about. Erceg is content on the jabs right now. It is righty on righty. 2 leg kicks missed by Kara France. He comes in with a left right to the body. And that was a nice counter a moment ago by Erceg. So when Kara France comes in with the left right, boom, Erceg's landing a leg kick every time. So he's clearly seen something on tape, and it might be an overextended fighter in Kara France when he throws them jabs. Yeah, definitely overextended. Now big left and a right. Forces Erceg to get out of there. Erceg clearly got the height advantage, but he's tall and lanky. He just looks more tall and lanky at this weight class. I would not be surprised if he goes up the bantamweight division in the future. I'm talking 3-4 years from now. He's going to give it a run here first, but he's tall and lanky and can afford to put on muscle. 2 minutes left, round 1. Co-main event. Oh. Okay. Let's go, fellas. 10-8, Kara France. Kara France with a slight lead in the striking right now. Come on, Steve, you got to pick up the pace. Oh, and a nice left drops Erceg. Oh, my goodness. And Kara France trying to pound it on now. Erceg back on his feet for the moment. Takes a right. Oh, and the ref stops it. Oh, my goodness. Kara France KOs Steve Erceg, and now we're headed towards the main event, baby. Just like that. Thank you. It wasn't my guy, but at least we got a first-round finish. I'm ready to see Adesanya fight. And Steve Ursay can't believe it. Guy Carl France, like Dan Hooker, man. A wealth of experience. He gets the KO here. In about 4 minutes and 6 seconds into the first round, he's now 25-11. Steve Ursay falls to 12-3, and guess what that means? The top of the division just got stronger and more solidified. As a guy knocking on the door to the top 5 gets beat. So Kai Kara-France wins, and that's the way it goes, baby. Just like that. Flyweight division, UFC 305. So unbelievable, man. I was just going to say, I'll do anything to get a finish here. Anything to get the finish. Please give us the finish. All right, but listen, so quick break here, and then it's final fight of the night. Du Plessis versus Adesanya. That's what we all been waiting for. Stay tuned.
You're watching the TCMMA podcast.
Israel Adesanya goes off on privileged Dricus Du Plessis. We paved the way for him. He tells TMZ Sports, I just want him to take accountability for his remarks. I'm also glad my friend Abdul Razak Al Hassan said it before his fight about 3 weeks ago, saying, I respect Dricus, but he's a B for what he said. He's a B because Dricus is saying, I trained in Africa. I do this in Africa. And people like Razak and myself who are forced to flee our country because of a better opportunity. Yeah. You know, so they're really going after Dricus. He'll never understand that because he lives behind the gates of his privileged life in South Africa, and he's able to do that there. So someone like Francis, who had to cross the desert to go overseas to go train, if you know Francis' story, you can't call him not a real African champion because he didn't train in Africa. Like, bro, are you kidding me? The guy who sent back, the guy got sent back out to the desert 6-7 times into a bad situation, and he survived. So this is the big talk this week, right, between Adesanya and Du Plessis, and this is why Adesanya went into the octagon after Du Plessis beat Strickland and started, you know, going off. There's some things going on there behind the scenes between these two, and they want after each other really bad, and quite frankly, I can't wait to see it. Now, in today's poll that we posted, 57% of you are for Dricus Du Plessis, right? 57% of the people polled think Dricus is going to win the fight, but that lets you know that it's going to probably be close. I mean, 57% is within the margin of error. Anything between 60 and 40, you know, in the 50s and 40s is good, because that means the fans are kind of split down the middle on this one, and that's exactly what we want. Make no mistake about it. Ladies and gentlemen, get involved in the chat room. Get involved in the poll. Who do you like to win in the main event between Dricus Du Plessis and Israel Adesanya? This is the fight we've been waiting for a long time. Now, let's just go back to how we got here, right? 2 close fights leading up to this. You had Adesanya versus Strickland. Adesanya was the champ. But this is how that fight finished. Sean Strickland is walking around the octagon like this thing is already a victory, man. And what a performance by Sean Strickland. I mean, to me, he dominated this fight. 111 to 97 in significant strikes. Head strikes 77 to 24. I mean, that's the fight right there. Body shots 29-28. Izzy had a lot of leg strikes to keep it close, but that doesn't work in the judges' scorecards. 45-5 for Izzy, but they weren't really big. I mean, Sean Strickland dropped him in round 1. Ended up leading round by round, probably except round 2. It's going to be 49-46 in my opinion. In the last 20 seconds, Sean Strickland just talking crap. And we just witnessed the biggest upset in championship history. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And both guys standing in the center of the octagon. And we're about to hear and new in a second. Wow. Adesanya knows he lost. Oh my gosh. It's unanimous. 49-46. Woo! Unbelievable. And new! Let's go! Wow, bro. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. At one point, you had Israel Adesanya, Kamaru Usman, Francis Ngannou rule the top 3 divisions. And now you got 3 Americans up there. Sean Strickland, middleweight champion. Jamal Hill relinquished the belt, but he's still listed as a champion. And John Jones, heavyweight champion. Unbelievable. Sean Strickland walked into New Zealand and beat Israel Adesanya. Unbelievable. In dominating fashion. In dominating fashion, bro. Everybody's going to be shocked about this. Unbelievable. Sean Strickland is the middleweight champion of the world. Unfreaking believable, man. Wow. He's now 27-5, middleweight champion. And guess what? Du Plessis is coming and Hamza is coming. But right now, Sean Strickland rules the day here in New Zealand. Middleweight division at UFC 293. Yeah, so that's the way Adesanya fell, right? He lost to Pereira, got the belt back by KO in Pereira, which is still hard to believe. Then he loses the belt to Sean Strickland. Then Sean Strickland, as we said there, would have to take on Dricus Du Plessis. And this is how that fight turned out. If I had to make a prediction for how this is going to go, I'm going to say Sean Strickland's going to win the decision. It's about to get real. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's going to be split. 48-47 Strickland. Oh my God. 48-47 Du Plessis. Oh my God. 48-47. Oh my God. Oh my God. And no! Let's go! Let's go! Yes! Yes! Dricus just stole the belt, baby. Dricus just stole the belt. What'd I tell y'all, man? We'll take the 6-6 night with the 2-0 in the main event on the year. Let's go. Wow. Wow. Dricus Du Plessis steals the belt with a split decision. And just that drama for those last 5 seconds might have made the whole night worth it. I don't know. But Dricus stole the belt. He's 21-2. And he says, hey, I'm not fighting Hamza. So forget about it. We'll talk about that next week. But for right now, Dricus Du Plessis is pumped. He stole the belt. And Sean Strickland has fallen. Despite dominating the stats, Sean Strickland has fallen. South Africa is going crazy right now to have a middleweight champion here at UFC 297. And so you see both of those came down to a decision. It's not like, and Strickland dominated Adesanya. No, make no mistake about it. Du Plessis barely beat Sean Strickland. So you got 3 guys up there that could all win the belt on any given day, and that's why this fight is so interesting between Du Plessis and Adesanya, because either we got a merry-go-round situation where guys are just going to be trading the belts on and off, or you're going to have Du Plessis solidify himself as the true champion of the division. That's just how it's going to go. So, listen, the time has come. Let's get into the main event prediction. Dricus Du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya right now. In the middleweight division for the middleweight division title, your main event at UFC 305. We finally get it. Dricus Du Plessis comes in at 21-2 and takes on the former champ, Israel Adesanya, who comes in at 24-3. So both guys with ridiculous records. That's why they're either the champ or the former champ. Now Adesanya 3 inches taller at 6'4". He's 34, right? Left the prime window, but still in his prime if you ask me. Du Plessis right in the middle. He's 30 years old. Adesanya, 4-inch reach advantage. Both guys switch stance fighters. Should be interesting. But Du Plessis much more active. 6.5 significant strikes per minute to 4 per minute for Adesanya. But Adesanya tends to slow his opponents down That's the key here. Now, in terms of takedowns, Du Plessis gets like one every round. Adesanya, not so much. So on paper, with the numbers, Du Plessis dominates in takedowns and doubles up Adesanya nearly in significant strikes per minute. Now, Du Plessis has been on a roll, hasn't lost in the UFC yet, beating Sean Strickland by split decision. Robert Whittaker, second round KO. Derek Brunson beat him, beat Darren Till, Brad Tavares, Trevin Giles, and Marcus Perez on the lead up, right? He's got 4 KOs in those 7 wins. Incredible. Now, on the other hand, Adesanya, 77% takedown defense. So he tends to defend the takedowns and slow his opponents down. Coming off the loss to Sean Strickland by unanimous decision. Strickland obviously won the fight easily, 137-94 on the feet, no takedowns. He did beat Alex Pereira by KO. That was incredible. Lost to Alex Pereira by KO. So you see he loses by KO, comes back and wins by KO to snatch the title back, and then loses it to Sean Strickland, who's waiting in the wings, right? Before that, he defended it 3 times in a row against Jared Cannonier, Robert Whittaker, and Marvin Vettori. And I can tell you now, this prediction is absolutely tough. Because on paper, Dricus Du Plessis should win this fight pretty easily. But Adesanya performs at his best when he doesn't have the belt, as we saw against Alex Pereira, when he's fighting for a reason, and therefore it's hard to go against him. I mean, I really like Dricus Du Plessis as well, but I'm not sure if I've ever gone against Adesanya. I'm sure I have at some point, but I can't remember, and I'm not going against Adesanya here. I like Israel Adesanya to shock the world and win the belt back and move to 25-3. Yes, his days are numbered, but this is not that day. He wins likely by a long fight, long decision, 5 rounds, long fight, but wins by decision, 3 rounds to 2, unanimous, in my opinion, to get the victory and steal the belt back here, middleweight division, for the middleweight title at UFC 305. Wow. Very tough fight to predict, man. But we got to go with Adesanya. Until he's beaten, if he loses 2 in a row, then maybe he's finally finished. But we still got him up there on the do list. You see, Adesanya 7, Du Plessis 8. Right? And the middleweight champion, whoever comes out of this thing, should be much higher than 7 or 8. But because you got a merry-go-round situation, you got these two at 7 and 8. You got Strickland like at 11 or 12. He's not done yet by any means. He's probably going to fight the winner of this fight. And as you look at the rest, Hamza, number 1, he's got a fight scheduled against Whittaker. John Jones, we're still waiting on a date. Pereira's off for the short term. Islam Makhachev, injured, supposed to fight Sarukian. Many people say he's scared of that fight. I don't think he's scared, but definitely going to be a tough fight. You got Sean O'Malley. He's got a fight scheduled. Shavkat Rakhmonov may very well be fighting Bilal Muhammad for the title. Then 9 and 10, you got that scheduled. Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria. So the dude list is heating up, and basically 7 out of 10 in the top 10 are scheduled to fight right now. We just got to get caught up on Hamza, Sean O'Malley, and I'm sure John Jones will be scheduled here in the near future. If he's not already scheduled, I might have missed it. But that's the way the dude list looks right now, and it's just going to get more and more interesting as we continue through the end of the year. You know how the end of the year is. It heats up as we go forward. It just gets better and better and better.
You're watching the TCMMA podcast. And now, back to your host, Chris Cross.
Welcome back. It's about that time. Israel Adesanya already in the octagon. Dricus Du Plessis making his walk. This fight is underway, and then it's a wrap. God, I've been waiting a long time for this fight. Yeah, it's just the middleweight division is ridiculous right now. And you know me with Hamza, but just as a regular fan, we don't know what Hamza is going to do against Whittaker. You still got Sean Strickland waiting in the wings. You got Adesanya and Du Plessis getting ready to fight. So it's just a lot is getting ready to happen in the next several months. Please believe it. But right now, you got Du Plessis versus Adesanya. I'm looking forward to seeing the crowd's reception for both, because both of these guys are liked among the fans, right? And I think most people just want to see a great fight. And when I say great, hope someone gets finished. You know, I don't want to see a 5-round decision. We've seen those in the past. Du Plessis, South African. Israel Adesanya, Nigerian. This has been built as the battle for Africa, or the battle of Africa, right? A lot of things that went down and transpired, but none of that matters now. I just know one thing when making our prediction for Adesanya is that he fights his best in these situations. At the same time, Du Plessis has the longest win streak in the middleweight division at 7. If he falls here, it'll be 4 straight times the middleweight contender has won the title. Adesanya beat Pereira. Strickland beat Adesanya. Du Plessis beat Strickland. Now you got these two. So we either got a merry-go-round situation, or Du Plessis is going to put his stamp on the division. Du Plessis looks good. Both guys look in the best shape of their career. And can you imagine the training that has went into both of these guys getting to this point? Because both of these guys train their butts off, man. I mean, these guys just train their butts off. Longest active win streak at 7. 9-fight win streak overall. Hasn't lost in 6 years. And you see these things, right? Like you saw this with Pereira too. It looks impossible, right? It looks impossible. And Adesanya finds a way to win. Du Plessis, 21-2. Adesanya, 24-3. His 8th middleweight title fight. He even fought once for the light heavyweight title against Jan Blachowicz. And probably one of our best predictions of all time, that many people thought Adesanya would win that fight. That's like the one time I think I went against him. And then the second Pereira fight, he made me pay too. So Adesanya is going to be taller, right? 6'4" versus 6'1". Truly a breaking point for Adesanya at 35 years old. Du Plessis, 30. Prime of the career. Huge win streak. Hasn't lost in 6 years. It sounds like it's impossible for Adesanya, as Bruce Buffer comes out and he's about to get everybody on another level right now. And I have to say, it's weird seeing Adesanya come out first. You know? So used to him being the champ. As a longtime Adesanya fan, and I like Du Plessis too. Kind of like whoever wins, but as a longtime Adesanya fan, it would be terrible to see him lose this fight and go out this way. Right? But this is a guy that's never going to stop. I mean, he's just looking right through Du Plessis. God, this is crazy. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Ooh. It's... Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's time. Du Plessis all smiles. So you got like a Du Plessis just over there smiling and chilling. And that's the way he gets comfortable. Adesanya gets comfortable, but he hasn't moved. He's like Pereira. He's just going to stare you down. Guy's 24-3, 6'4", fighting out of Auckland, New Zealand. And this is a pick'em fight. No one knows what to do. It's even. And it's hard, like, it's hard to lay anything down against Adesanya. Even if you believe Du Plessis is going to win, it's just Adesanya has been around forever and just finds ways to win. The most intriguing part about this fight is that they're both switch stance fighters. Like, they both can switch from righty to lefty at any time. That's crazy. You don't hardly ever see that. All right, let me hear Du Plessis' reception. There's a lot of boos on both sides. The boos are kind of drowning out the cheers. Yeah, both guys exactly even in the odds. It's funny how this came together. It's unbelievable. Du Plessis walks to the center of the octagon with his hands up high, and Adesanya's just looking through him, man. This is incredible. All right, so let's tune this up. Middleweight division title, UFC 305, the current champ, Dricus Du Plessis, versus the contender, hard to say, Israel Adesanya. And both of these guys are getting instructions. Du Plessis has his hands up. I don't think Adesanya is going to touch gloves. And he does. And both back up, and here we go. Oh my goodness. This is one of the most intriguing title fights of the year because I don't think any of us really know what's about to happen. I mean, it's basically even. And both fighters on their knees getting ready to come out. And the crowd's getting up now. And Adesanya looks like he's ready to run through Du Plessis. I mean, you're going to get the best Adesanya tonight. Adesanya number 2, Du Plessis the champ. You got Sean Strickland in between at 1. And all 3 guys have held the belts over the last 3 fights. Whew. Slow start to this one. Du Plessis gets the first strike. And Du Plessis is a very active fighter. But again, much like Usman, Adesanya takes your numbers and brings them way down. And he turns the fight into a slower paced fight that he's comfortable with. And that's the challenge for Dricus in this fight. Dricus comes in with a big left, backs up Adesanya. And a nice leg kick by Adesanya. Du Plessis did not like that. Came out with 3 big punches, all of them missed. So he did not like that leg kick at all. And we'll discuss this throughout the fight, but right now Du Plessis standing right-handed, Adesanya left. Now Adesanya switches to right, and he's going to shoot for that leg kick once again. Ooh. Nice right and left by Du Plessis, forces Adesanya to switch to lefty. And it's interesting if they want to match up, because they're both switch stance. If they want to match up or switch. And Adesanya looks like his normal self right now. Du Plessis a little caught off guard. Trying to figure it out. 4-4 in significant strikes, so no big deal. But the flinches are already working for Adesanya. Crowd beginning to sing now. Trying to get both fighters to pick up the pace here. It's a very slow-paced fight, so it's already going Adesanya's way. Because Du Plessis is a guy that lands over 5 significant strikes per minute. He's got 4 in the first 3. So nice jab by Adesanya. Du Plessis shoots in for the takedown. Adesanya stuffs it. Anything could happen, but this is what I expected from Adesanya. He just looks PO'd, man. He looks like a guy who's on a mission right now. Oh, nice leg kick, Adesanya. What is that, 3 or 4? Here comes Du Plessis with some big punches. When Du Plessis gets in there, look out. Adesanya backs off. And Adesanya, as he does a lot, keeping that jab hand way out there. Ooh, and some nice strikes there. Combinations by Adesanya. Du Plessis totally off balance right now in this fight, but it's still pretty close. And a big right hand by Du Plessis. Adesanya shakes his head and says, no. That's not hurting me, man. That's not doing anything. Okay, Adi. Okay. Nice combination. Du Plessis nearly landed a leg kick up top. Final 30, round 1. Who wants this round more? This round's gonna be important. And it's pretty much even. Oh, nice body shot by Adesanya. Then blocks a leg kick. There's a tap. Final 10. Good round. Good start. 14-11 Adesanya in significant strikes. Head strikes 7-5. So looking at the numbers, Adesanya should win that round, but that doesn't mean anything, especially on this night. And the battle for Africa is going down in Australia. It's hard to believe. Both guys have kind of turned it into that, especially Adesanya. When he ran in the octagon at UFC 290, kind of fired this whole thing up. In the corner, Du Plessis still looks calm. He's smiling. Adesanya standing up in the corner. He don't like to sit. You know, he's an old school warrior, man. He's not taking any breaks. And if you see the way he trains in between fights, not the average routine. I mean, he's using the ocean, he's using hills, he's doing everything. And that's why, despite being 35, he's still fighting like a 30-year-old. Round 2 underway. It only takes one strike to end it. And Adesanya really working the leg kicks here. Actually, Du Plessis has more landed, but the 4 that Adesanya landed were big time. Spinning back kick by Du Plessis. And DDP does not like these leg kicks, man. As soon as Adesanya lands a leg kick, he's charging in. It's like, I don't want to feel 2 of those in a row. Another leg kick to the lead leg. Oh, nice takedown by Du Plessis. Adesanya just lost his footing for a second. And this is a major mishap for Adesanya right now, as Du Plessis is working up the back. And this is not the guy you want on your back because he's so big. And Du Plessis goes right to get underneath. And Adesanya's trying to fight it. And now the ground and pound for Du Plessis. And you can see Adesanya cannot believe he's here. He really just lost his lead leg for a second. Du Plessis took it. And Adesanya's in a bad position right now. Oh, Du Plessis gets underneath. Adesanya gets out of it. This is a tough guy to submit, man. And Du Plessis trying again. Ooh. Adesanya gets out of it somehow. Unbelievable. And he's back to his feet. And no big deal, Adesanya, just go back to work. Just go back to work now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Boy, and Adesanya dodged a big one right there. 3 minutes left, round 2. And Adesanya completely taking Du Plessis out of the fight on the feet. And Adesanya lands a big right, so does Du Plessis. Du Plessis goes down. Oh, Adesanya, get out of there, man. Ah, looks to me like Du Plessis was getting tired. He shoots him for the takedown. And it happened so fast. Come on, Adesanya, you got to get out of this, man. You're winning on the feet. Du Plessis has the back of Adesanya. Adesanya's trying to get the arms out of there. Du Plessis stands up with him. And Adesanya's going to turn his back to the fence, and here we go. But Dricus is going to be relentless with this here now. And it's a lot like Mateusz Gamrot earlier in the night. I mean, he's going to relentlessly go in for takedowns. And right now, Du Plessis is breathing really hard. I mean, Adesanya just has to continue working and getting out of this. Because if they get back to the feet, I think Adesanya could put him down. Because Dricus is holding on right now. He's tired. And it's amazing how Adesanya does this to opponents too. It's like he slows the opponent down, but yet they're more tired. Because we've seen Du Plessis in some battles, man, over 150 significant strikes here and there. I mean, the guy can throw. But right now against Adesanya, he's still under 20 through 2 rounds. But yet, he looks like he's in the 4th. Getting a little energy back here, though, as he's had the back of Adesanya for about 2 minutes. And Adesanya's still trying to work out of this here. Du Plessis got him pinned up against the fence. There you go, Adesanya. Let's go, baby. Come on, man. These guys are battling, man. These guys are battling. And that'll do it for round 2. And that one, Adesanya could have won that round, but it seemed to me that Du Plessis controlled that round big time. And it's probably 1-1. 3 takedowns, 328 of control. But in the striking, it's Adesanya on the feet. 35-24 total strikes. 25-19 significant strikes. So Du Plessis' average would dictate that he had roughly 60 significant strikes right now. 50 to 60. He's got 19. And it's just amazing how Adesanya can do that to his opponent. Every time. I mean, every time. The numbers come down. But Du Plessis is breathing hard. If Adesanya can stay on the feet for 2 minutes, he's going to win this fight. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Here we go, round 3. Yep. Keep your distance here, Adesanya. He's tired, man. He's going to shoot in for takedowns. If you can stuff a couple. Yep. And Adesanya's been taken down basically because of 2 mistakes on his part. Nice leg kick. Nice leg kick to the body. Boom. Nice left. Okay, Adesanya, let's go. Both guys standing lefty. Adesanya switches to righty, so does Du Plessis, who seems to be, throughout the fight, trying to match stance for stance. Nice body shot. See, and every time Adesanya lands, Du Plessis can't hang with him in striking. I mean, that's clear. That's clear. Don't get me wrong, Du Plessis landing, but he's just slower, and Adesanya's wearing him down. The takedown game is everything for Du Plessis right now, and he's looking to shoot. He's looking to shoot. Come on, Adesanya. Yep. Keep moving. Keep moving. Stick, stick, move. Yep. Now Du Plessis just covering up a lot, except when he's going to come out with 3 or 4 strikes. He's covering up a lot, and he's losing power. And I'm telling you right now, Adesanya's not tired. Is he starting to pick it up? Look out for the takedown attempt. This is great. 2 minutes on the feet, exactly. Adesanya's up 48-27 in significant strikes. Head strikes 27-16. Just got to keep it going. Guys tend to get their second win as it looks like Du Plessis might be getting. Ooh, another body shot. Watch out for the takedown. Okay. And this is not good for Du Plessis. Ooh, Du Plessis picking it up power-wise. Adesanya gets out of there. Now Adesanya's slowing down. Goodness gracious. Come on. Yeah, here comes Du Plessis letting it out. But he's tired, man. Adesanya's just got to hold on. Here comes a takedown attempt. Get out of there. Yes. Yes. Yep. Yep. Du Plessis going to show flashes, but he's getting tired. Adesanya just cannot take a big one. Oh, Adesanya falls. He gets back up. Oh, boy. Yeah, this is definitely a fight, ladies and gentlemen. This is definitely a fight. And both of these guys are really picking it up, man. No takedowns in this round. This has been stand-up striking. Exactly what we want to see. And Du Plessis still capable of landing a big KO, but it seems to me that the fight is going Adesanya's way. But it also looked that way earlier with Rosenstrike and Tuivasa. Like Rosenstrike led like 90 to like 25, and one of the refs gave 3 rounds to none for Tuivasa. Like it was crazy. So you just don't know what they're seeing in this fight. But both guys are definitely going back and forth. When I peek at the stats, I realize, okay, Adesanya's way up in what's landed. But the first 2 rounds were close. This round, it's 36-15 Adesanya. So on the feet, Adesanya is winning. No question about it. He's led in every round. Du Plessis better go in for some takedowns in round 4. Because Adesanya's pulling away a little bit. 63-38. Significant strikes. 2 rounds to go. That's it. Total strikes 73-43. Head strikes 39-23. All in favor of Izzy. No takedowns in that round. I don't see how anybody in their right mind could give that round to Du Plessis. Maybe you give him round 2 because of the takedowns and control time. But Izzy's got to win. Well, round 1 was close. but I think you got to give round 1 to Izzy and round 3 to Izzy as of right now. So 2 rounds to go. Title's on the line. And these guys are letting everything. I mean, they both got their foot on the gas pedal. But to me, Izzy trains for this. This is what Izzy trains for. He trains at the highest level. Not so much like a fighter, but like an athlete. The guy is an athlete. And the fans are loving it. As we get started here, round 4. Championship rounds underway. And Izzy coming out with the jab, so you want to be active in this round. Be active, defend the takedown attempts, because they're coming. Oh my goodness. Nice punch by Adesanya, then he overextended. Okay. Get out of there. Yeah, Du Plessis getting tired. Adesanya kicked him in the upper body on the ground, so I thought for a second that might be something, but luckily no one even flinched. I thought it might be a bad punch or a strike. Du Plessis cannot hang with Adesanya on the feet. I'm sorry. Adesanya's starting to put on a clinic now. This is a critical round. If Du Plessis don't get a takedown, this fight's over, man. He's got to do something to stop this. 76-41 in significant strikes. Izzy's starting to pull away. And I think Izzy can feel it. Nice movement, Adesanya. Every time Du Plessis misses, man, he's more and more tired. And we would see this in the fights before Du Plessis had the nose surgery. Like he would bend over and look tired, and now he's starting to look that way. Just because of Adesanya's ability just to keep the pressure on. Hey, beautiful. Du Plessis throwing, but starting to land like spaghetti right now. It's just, there's nothing there. And I say that now, watch Izzy get KO'd. Izzy's got to be careful here. Oh man, Izzy's just, I love it. Putting on a freaking clinic, man. 2:20 left, round 4. Oof. And this is like hitting the bags for Adesanya. Just like hitting the bags. Nice left by Du Plessis. But see, he's got to go. He's got to use up all his energy to try to get something, and he still could get something. But when he does that, he pays for it for like a minute. Nice left. Come on now. Come on, Adesanya. Oh, Du Plessis lands a big left. Another left. And Adesanya says, come to the center. And here we go. Oh, Du Plessis coming in now. Look out. Adesanya's in trouble. He's giving up the back. Oh, my goodness. This would be terrible to lose this way after such a good fight. Oh, he's in trouble. Adesanya's in trouble, man. He taps. Wow, bro. Adesanya was dominating the fight, and Du Plessis pulls it out of the bag. And the look on Adesanya's face, he knows it. Du Plessis pulled that out of the bag, bro. Du Plessis finishes Adesanya, man. I'm shocked, not because it can't happen, but Adesanya was putting on a clinic. And Du Plessis locks in the rear, and just like that, and still middleweight champ. And they hug it out now, and they're talking. And Adesanya is just gonna, he's trying to sit there and talk to him, but you can just see his face, man. He's gonna be so upset with this loss because he was winning this fight big time. I mean, big time. But listen, Du Plessis is a champ for a reason, and he respects Adesanya now. He moves to 22-2, and for the first time in 4 tries, a champion retains the belt. And it's hard to say, but based off of what the build-up was, Dricus Du Plessis is the king of Africa. And as Dana White said, they'll be headed to South Africa now. And Du Plessis will be headlining that card. So they're going to be excited for that. And it's just, Adesanya was outclassing him on the feet. And then all of a sudden, Du Plessis landed 3 rights. Adesanya gave up the back. And Du Plessis climbed up the back very quickly and locked it in. Just a major mistake by Adesanya. Unbelievable. But Du Plessis wins, man. And still champion. Middleweight division. UFC 305. That's a shame, man. So that's the way it goes down, man. We appreciate y'all watching. Another watch party is finished. And we'll be back tomorrow with the full reaction for a lot of the fights on this card, especially the finishes. But Adesanya goes down, man. And after a good night for us, we lose the main event. No, we haven't lost the main event in a few weeks, so we'll take it. But until next time, this is your boy Chris Cross. Have a great day, and God bless. As always, peace.